Merry Christmas,
Merry
everybody. I think the countdown's on. There's less than 2 weeks to go to Christmas. So today you've got Marissa and Katie coming live to you from Rise High, and we're talking all about how to survive the Christmas period without a financial hangover, which is a massive topic.
Yep.
I've got Katie, who's one of our amazing mortgage brokers, but also a mum of 3, so very experienced at Christmas time.
Yep.
And how to manage
Exciting
Christmas
time in the house.
as a family. How's your family feeling about Christmas coming up,
Yeah,
Katie?
they're looking forward to it. We've got one more week of school, which is a help for me. I think some of the private schools are already finished, but I've still got my Christmas shopping to go. So I'm going to be trying to make use of this last week of school.
Well, you won't be alone, Katie. The research has shown that Australians are going to spend nearly $64 billion on pre-Christmas shopping, and most people will be leaving it to the last couple of weeks before Christmas.
Should have made use of those Black Friday sales, but unfortunately I didn't.
Yes, so the question is, you're going to be naughty or nice this Christmas? Naughty or nice? So we're going to be giving you some tips today on how you can get through the Christmas period and also post-Christmas without having that financial hangover. Because of course Christmas is such an exciting time, and it's also a very giving time, and a time that we spend time with family and we socialise more and have more events, and
unfortunately
more expenditure.
Yeah,
that's right, and it's so tempting to fall into that trap. And we talked about the fact that Australians are going to spend $64 billion on pre-Christmas spending, but the unfortunate thing about it is that 24% of that is going to be increasing people's debt.
Yes. Yep.
So I think that about 13% of that's on, going on credit card debt. 9% on buy now, pay later, which is becoming very popular. And I guess what we want to do is do our part to help you to ensure that you're not one of those people that fall into the trap of, having that Christmas hangover and that extra debt.
Don't want
it
to
can
be
be
paying
expensive, can't it?
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be paying off the debt for last Christmas while you're still looking ahead to try and think about the next Christmas. So.
And the interest rates on that debt's definitely very naughty. Yes. So we don't want naughty interest rates. So I guess the other thing really to mention is that interest rates are going up. And cost of living is going up. It's been a big year. A lot of Australians did really well at saving through the COVID period, but now that that's all pretty much over, and it's great that we can all have Christmas together. Everyone's free to travel. It's going to be a great festive season. But the reality is that families' cost of living has increased.
Absolutely.
You see that everywhere, don't you?
It's not just the interest rates, it's the petrol, it's the groceries, everything's
going
up.
So even more reason why we need to have a really good plan going into the festive season.
Yes, definitely.
So that we can definitely be nice. So Katie has prepared for us 5 tips to get us through the festive season without a financial hangover. So Katie, can you please share with us your 5 tips? Let's start with tip number 1.
Okay, so tip number 1, make a plan before you get started. So basically you need to work out what your budget is before you start spending. Okay, so I guess, you might have some savings you want to use. Unfortunately, you might have to use a credit card, but whatever the way you're going to go about your Christmas shopping, work out what that budget is up front. It's important to also make a list. So, you might work out who you have to pay, like who you have to buy for, how much you want to spend, and ideally have some ideas before you hit the shops of what you want to get them.
That's such a big one, because I know that's so simple about making a list.
But a lot of people don't do it.
It's so easy if you don't have a list to just get a bit carried away. I mean, even, setting Christmas shopping aside, even when you go to the supermarket, for example, when you have a list, it's, I've been finding that I've been spending less on groceries since I've been using like shopping apps. Because you just buy what you need. Whereas when you're actually going through the aisles, sometimes you can actually be tempted to buy, oh, this is on special, I might get some of that and some of that and some of that. And you don't necessarily need it. So Christmas shopping can be a bit the same, can't it?
And I definitely think it's a good idea to make sure you record down, and if you do get started early and make a few purchases, write it down so that, if you're anything like me, I tend to, I'll buy a few things, I'll get some things delivered, Amazon, that sort of thing. you have to find the hiding spots around the house, so you tuck them away in the laundry, under the bed. Yeah. And then sometimes you can forget you've actually bought them, and then you might go out and buy more purchases. So if you do some shopping early, write it down so you know what you've actually already purchased. Yes. And have it front of mind of what you need to then go hunting in the house to find.
I'm definitely guilty of that because I love to be organised. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to find hiding spots. And I find that as the kids get older, they get better at figuring out the hiding spots, and you've got to get more creative with your hiding spots. So definitely sometimes you hide them in such good places that you've actually forgotten what you've actually got. So.
That's right. And I think it's also good to do some research online. Like I know some people, all they do is shop online, which is it's a great way of doing it, saves time. Others don't like to buy online, but even if you don't like to purchase online, it's a good idea to look online for the price of those gifts. At least then you can know what shops to target, or at least know a bit of a guideline of what it's going to cost before you get out there shopping.
Yeah. One of the things that I like to do in terms of, I'm a big planner, I love to plan. So throughout the year I sort of have my list of what I think everyone might have for Christmas. And like you mentioned, the Black Friday sales. Yeah. If you can, I mean, obviously we've missed that boat for this year, but for next year.
I have noticed though, there are some shops and stuff still sort of
have continued the sales.
Yeah, that's sort of, I think, trying to get people into the store and that sort of thing. I think kept those sales going. So
but it might be good if you miss the Black Friday sales this year. Yes. Maybe put a little note in your calendar or your diary for next year to take advantage of those, because you can get some really good sales, and they're just good timing before Christmas. And if you sort of know what you're going to get in advance, it can be a really good way to sort of plan and make a budget. So, I think that this is a great tip. It's really about planning.
Yes.
Going into it with knowing what you're going to get and knowing how you're going to go about it. And definitely when you plan, have more chance of success. It's definitely a nice thing to do. Failure to plan is a little bit naughty. Okay, I think that's really great. Tip number 1's covered. So make a plan before you start spending. What's tip number 2?
Okay, so tip number 2, give the gift of needs and experiences. So sometimes
I love this one.
Yeah, sometimes it can be easy. I as Marissa said, I've got 3 kids, and we all like to spoil our kids and make sure they have a good time. And there's a lot of activities and events and things happening. You want to take the kids along so that they get to enjoy these things. But it can be easy to fall into the trap of just buying tickets to things just for the sake of it. The kids get, I think in this day and age, they do get a little bit extra spoiled, and so they get to go along to all these events just for the sake. So I know this year, for example, I hope my kids don't watch this video, but I've bought them some tickets to some events that I know that they want to go to, and that they'll get on Christmas Day. I printed, I made like a fake ticket that I printed off to put in a card, so when they open up, they'll see the ticket in there, and then they'll go to those events that they're going to be in January and February next year. So not only they get the excitement on the day of seeing the ticket, but they it's something that they'll do later down the track, which in all honesty I probably would have, like the boys are going to the cricket, we would have taken them to the cricket anyway. So why not hold off, give it to them as a Christmas present, and then they get the excitement to go to it later.
And the other thing that I love about that is that not only is it great to teach them to love it, because experiences are so much better than toys or material possessions anyway, but the thing that I love about that for our children is that it also teaches them the joy of delayed gratification. Because you're not only giving them the gift, it's something to wait for, it's something to get excited about, something to anticipate. I think that's a really good lesson that we can teach our kids, because when we are teaching our kids about money in general, it is really hard for the younger generation to understand the concept of delayed gratification, because everything these days is so instant, and that's a really important lesson to learn when it comes to money management. So you can actually teach them that by, your example of giving experiences. I know that with my kids are starting to get older now, and I know that they would love experiences more than presents. But they also really want something to open on Christmas Day. So what I'm doing this Christmas is I've done the same as you, like printed out the tickets to the experiences that I'm giving them, but I've wrapped them all in different size boxes, and I'm going to hide them around the house. So
that's a good idea.
So I'm going to send them on a little wild goose chase, and they're going to unwrap it and they're going to realise it's just a bit of paper. But just to try and create a bit of unwrapping excitement around the experience. So they kind of get the best of both worlds. So they can get the experience, but also get that unwrapping excitement as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. I think also it can be good to give usable gifts. So, you know, fill up those stockings with things like, I know the classic socks and jocks and things like that, but it's, you know, even like it could be goggles or shoes, or I know like my kids are getting to the age now where, you know, they do like to wear the brand name type things rather than sort of the standard things. So it'd be like, okay, well, fine, you know, if you're buying them socks throughout the year, you just get them the plain socks. But if it's for Christmas, you might spend that little bit extra, but get them some, you know, their brand name socks or whatever it is that they're looking for. They then get the excitement because they think they're getting them a bit extra special, but you're saving the money because you then don't have to buy them for them throughout the year. So
I know that
helps to bulk up the stockings.
I remember growing up getting those things for Christmas each year, running down to my stocking and hoping it would be full of toys, and it was full of clothes and socks and undies. But it's useful. Like, it's good, you know, good stuff to put in there.
And unfortunately, I think with kids sometimes it's not all, it's the quantity. They just like to see that volume. So if you can fill that stocking with things that you're going to buy for them later in the year.
Cut it out.
Yeah, I saw there was a thing that was going around like the 12 days of Christmas, but as an advent calendar, you bought your child sort of something that they needed every day. And it was things like toothbrushes and things like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know, my kids would be too excited if I gave them a toothbrush, but they do see if it's, you know, a brand name socks and things like that. They seem to get pretty excited. So.
Yeah, no, definitely a great one. I think, you know, give the gifts of needs and experiences. Not only potentially saves you money down the track, but also teaches the kids some really valuable lessons around delayed gratification and appreciating what they've got. So I think definitely a big tick from me. That's definitely a very nice tip. Okay, tip number 3.
So another way that we can save money is getting creative with that, like gift wrapping, decorations and cooking. Christmas can obviously be an expensive time of year with the presents themselves, but it's all those extra trimmings at Christmas, I think, that really sort of can cost you a bit of extra money. So, you know, don't be afraid to get onto Google and check out things like, you know, perhaps put in some like budget Christmas ideas or low cost Christmas cooking. It's, huge amount of content on there and things of how you could save some money. And, you know, get the kids involved. Like, you know, you might make some slices for some people. Get the, you know, like I said, I've got one more week and then my kids are on school holidays. My contribution to Christmas Day this year, a part of it is going to be some slices. So the kids will hopefully help me with some cooking and, you know, make it a bit cheaper rather than buying things that have already been made.
And it's just a great way to get them into the Christmas spirit as well.
That's right. Yeah. Put the Christmas carols on while you're doing it.
That's right. I think, you know, Christmas baking has become a really fun tradition in our household. And also Christmas decorations. You know, like I get the kids to, you know, if we're hosting Christmas, I'll get the kids to make decorations for the house. So we might just get a whole bunch of paper, you know, recycled paper and cut out snowflakes or whatever it is that we might do. But I actually think this is a really good tip throughout the entire year. One of the things that I think has been really great is lately I've been noticing, and I guess as my kids are getting a bit older, a lot more people are doing handmade cards. And cards are so expensive.
I know, crazy.
You know, when you look at a birthday card or even Christmas card, like they're so expensive. And actually the thought and effort that goes into creating a handmade card, and when you receive a handmade card, it actually is so much nicer.
Definitely.
So that's a great example of, you know, where you can save a considerable amount of money throughout the year, because you might think, a birthday here, a birthday there, it's, you know, $5 or $6 every time you're buying a card. So by the time you've got, you know, 4 or 5 birthdays throughout the year, like that's it adds up over the course of the year. So definitely getting creative with gift wrapping, decorations, and with the cooking thing. I know that a lot of people also like to gift their cooking.
Well,
you know?
I had my auntie come and visit over on the weekend actually, and she brought some slices over because I'm not going to see her on Christmas Day. And I was so excited. It was my favourites that I would normally like to have on Christmas Day, so I got to have them early, which was nice. But
and that's the thing, like that probably brought you more joy than if it was a material present. So
definitely.
I think when you know that the person has put thought and effort into what they're giving you, it actually is a bit more meaningful and probably saves the pocket as well.
Yeah, that's right. Not a bit naughty for the waistline, I must say. I ate a little bit too much of the slice on the weekend, but you know,
Christmas is a bit naughty for the waistline, but nice for the pocket.
Yeah.
So tip number 3 was to get creative with gift wrapping, decorations, and cooking. Let's move on to tip number 4.
Yeah, so I guess tip number 4 is just be mindful that you don't have to, I know Christmas is about giving and that sort of thing, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be a gift.
Yeah.
I think especially when we're adults, you know, there's not too many things that we actually really need or even really want that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
So why not consider giving the gift of time? You know, like, you know, you might have some family and friends, particularly might be elderly family, that they might just want to, you know, say, okay, I'm going to come over, you know, the weekend after Christmas and help you out in the garden, or let's, you know,
babysitting.
Always happy to get some extra
babysitting vouchers.
Yeah. So you know, or even like I might even be a massage from the kids or something like that. You could say, you know, like they could give you a free massage. But yeah, so I think that's you know, one way that, you know, it doesn't have to always physically be a gift. I know, like if you're catching up with friends, you know, you might be going for Christmas lunch or dinner that's, you know, before Christmas in the lead up. Maybe just suggest to everyone, look, let's not do presents this year. We'll just, we're going out, we'll go out to a nice restaurant. The meal can be the gift, you know, our company can be the gift. And you might find other people, you know, if you are sort of a bit concerned about how much you're spending, everyone's probably in the same boat and they're happy to forgo the gift, and we'll just say, go for a nice meal, and that can be the gift instead.
Yeah. I love this one as well, because I think that it can get a bit carried away, can't it?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's really good to set that expectation with your family, especially for the adults. Like we've shifted to a Kris Kringle, you know, with the adults in our family a few years back, and it's still really exciting and a lot of fun.
It's nice to do something, because then it's, you know,
but it actually adds a little bit element of fun to the day as well, and also it saves you money.
And one gift instead of one for everyone.
Generally, the one gift that you do get is probably better than if you had like lots of little gifts.
That's right. Yeah.
It's definitely a great way to do it. And I think once again, when the kids see the adults moving towards that, it's really a good lesson for them as well.
Yeah, that's right.
To shift the idea of Christmas from just receiving a whole heap of presents to,
that's right,
you know, actually
quality rather than quantity.
Being about spending time together. Being about having, you know, and I also love the idea of the coupons. You know, how good is that?
Yeah, definitely.
That's really great. So that was tip number 4. So that's being mindful that Christmas doesn't have to be about giving a gift to everybody, but just making a better way of going about that. What's tip number 5, Katie?
Okay, so tip number 5 is more about, I guess, post-Christmas. So what if you didn't manage to stick to your budget? So let's, you know,
so if you've been a little bit naughty.
Yeah. So it might be that already, you know, like for those that have got started early, they might have already realised that, we've already overspent the budget to what we should have spent. So I guess the key thing is enjoy your day. Make, you know, sort of don't be worrying about Christmas on the day. If you have sort of spent too much, what's done is done. Enjoy your day, but then not too, you know, as soon as you can after Christmas is over. Work out exactly what the damage is. So, you know, sit down, have a look. You might be looking back through your bank statement, or, you know, looking through your savings account, that sort of thing, and try and sort of determine, okay, well, how much extra did we spend in the lead up to Christmas? So, and then once you work out, you know, how much you've spent, and work out what the plan is going to be to get back on track. So it can be really easy, especially if you've used a credit card to pay for those extra gifts. To go, okay, well, that's fine. Well, you know, how much do I have to pay now as the minimum on that card?
Yes.
But really, you need to be paying more than the minimum. Credit cards, you know, the average interest rate at the moment is around 16% on a credit card. So
very, very,
very naughty. Yeah. So if you're choosing to only pay the minimum on that account, you are going to pay a significantly higher cost for all that Christmas cheer that you've just experienced. So yeah, good idea to get on, you know, work out how many months it's going to take for you to make extra repayments to get back on track.
And sometimes it can be difficult to assess the damage and confront the situation on your own.
Yes. Yep.
You know, and that's where it's really good if you can reach out to somebody.
Yep.
You know, you might have a friend or a partner that might be able to help you to navigate your way through that.
Yep.
Or of course, we'd love to help you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that, you know, all our clients at Rise High, I think probably, you know, already know, we like to get in touch with our clients, and here not just to get you a home loan, but about those budgeting tips, because that's really the key. Right. I think after Christmas is getting back on track. Is you might never have budgeted before, so you don't really know how to go about it. But yeah, more than happy to help. With setting out some budgeting tips or putting a budget plan in place.
Absolutely, and sometimes it's actually hard to even know how much you have spent.
Yes.
We've got some tools and resources to actually help us to uncover all of that, so that we can actually get to the bottom of what actually is leaving your your pocket each week, and actually navigate through that with you. And I think it's always easier to work through these things when you've got someone guiding you and helping you along.
I think it's about support, but it's also about being accountable. Like I think if you know there's sort of someone there that's willing to not just help you up front, but touch base and things along the way. Sometimes it can be it can be easy to forget or not make it a priority. But if you know that someone's going to be touching base with you, then it might make it be front of mind that you have to get these things done.
And even if you have been very, very good and very, very nice through the Christmas period with your spending, you might have some big goals for 2023.
That's right. Absolutely.
There might be some things that you really want to do in 2023. Maybe it's the year that you're going to buy your first home, or
absolutely,
buy your dream home, or upgrade, or maybe it's the year that you're going to start investing in property. Whatever it is, we'd love to help you make that dream a reality.
Yep. Definitely.
So make sure that you reach out to the team at Rise High. And most importantly, make sure that you have a really wonderful Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
And don't eat too many of these.
It's okay to be a little bit naughty on Christmas Day, I think. I always give myself that day, that few weeks.
Calories don't count.
Few weeks off. No, everything's everything's fat free on Christmas Day, isn't it? Hoping that you have a really wonderful Christmas with your family and friends. A huge thank you to our entire Rise High community for all of your support throughout 2022. It's been a really big year. There's been a lot of change, and there's been a lot of ups and downs for our community, and interest rates rising. We just want you to know that we're here for you. We've got your back, and we really appreciate your support and your loyalty, and we're really looking forward to working with you again in 2023. Thanks to Katie for sharing her tips with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been great, and we will see you on the other side in 2023. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.